Hey guys, what's up? It's James Stewart. You know where we at. It's the recap, baby. Round 16 up in the Mile High Stadium, Denver, Colorado. You got Eli Tomac after all year long trying to put this thing and wrap this thing up like a nice bow, have the unlimited all-time red plate or winning the championship. So, you know, he was nervous. Hometown boy. You got busting caps around there. You got Mookie Fever all trying to keep the thing open. But, you know, at the end of the day, somebody is going to get a neck burn. And I don't mean the normal neck burn. I mean just the full-on suntan, babe. Like just lay there and you just automatically forever burnt. Well, that's what happened. So let's figure it out. Round 16, Mile High Stadium, Denver, Colorado. Let's get into it. I've actually never raced in the Denver Stadium. This was a newer one the last couple of years. I think they missed last year, but they were there the year before, a couple of years. So I always flew into Denver and raced at Thunder Valley. So, of course, this is one of those things that you're up at elevation. I raced in Salt Lake City a few times, so I don't know the difference between that elevation and this one, but you can definitely tell. You heard about the riders talking about power and some guys with the altitude and, you know, sickness and all this. But of course, coming into this, you had Eli, you know, doing what he does. The last couple of weekends have been, I wouldn't say even subpar. I think he's been maybe even more impressive to me the last couple of weekends, because he's definitely going into, if it's there, he'll win. If not, he's in full championship mode. And you could tell last week he got like 6th or 7th place, which is his worst finish of the year. But you can tell that's what place he wanted to get. And then even this weekend, he was there, and then he just decided, like, all right, I'll just chill it out. But it was cool to see, you know, like I said before, you get these other guys that have an opportunity, like Jason. He wants to continue winning. Chase Sexton, he wants to get another victory. Malcolm, get his first one. So you have other guys that's racing and fighting for a win, and I think those are the guys that you can see that Eli won't race against at this point. And why should he? Because, you know, he's getting the prize that they want. So he's in full championship mode, which he ends up getting that done. But it's nice to see these other guys racing. And, you know, I just felt like with El Hambre being from New Mexico, I don't know how close that is and not close or whatnot, but he wants to go out with a bang bang. And I mean, you know, he might be shooting all y'all, but he was dominant this weekend. As dominant as he was, as much as they talked about him being afraid of the altitude and altitude sickness, he looked really good. He looked aggressive all day long. So, you know, you always knew that if anybody was going to win, it was probably going to be him or my brother or even Chase, but it was all El Hambre this weekend. We've had this happen a few times. You have Chase up front. He's been up front a few times this year, and it's been like that same outcome, you know, making a mistake and, you know, almost throwing away the victory. Because I believe with this type of track, Jason was routing really well, but this was one of the tracks that the track was super, super dry. And there was, I would say it was easy to make mistakes, but a lot of the tracks were, even the tacky ones are easy to make mistakes. But this track was one of those ones I felt like Chase would be good at, because it was, you have to flow really well. And the way they had the rhythm sections, you can almost kind of keep your momentum kind of going up, jumping into that sand and even before the finish line, just making sure you get a nice arc to all that. And riders couldn't attack you. Like they couldn't really just charge in because there was no traction. So guys had to be really smooth. Well, he's really smooth, and it's ironic. He's so smooth for a lot of mistakes that he makes, but I know he's kicking himself, because, I mean, I would say there's probably 3, maybe 4 races this year that I would say he had just as good a chance to win as anybody, and he threw it away. And what he makes a mistake because there's no traction after the whoops. And you could tell people, like with this, when they have a whoop section and the last few whoops, they don't get any smaller. They stay just as big. You have to like blitz all the way out. You have to blitz all the way out to the end of the whoops. Well, when you do that, going into a 90-degree corner compared to 180, it makes it difficult getting to the inside. And then they had this little knoll here, right here, little ledge. Chase gets in because he has to blitz all the way to the end of the whoops. Otherwise, his bike starts kicking up. He can't stop. He runs into this little wall. They have this wall to keep people from doing what he just did right there, running into the mechanics area. So that's why they had that ledge there. And it was so hard packed that he couldn't stop. And it was so hard packed when he hit that wall, it just kind of threw him up. So for him, it was just another mistake. And I think a part of that came from his line entry in the whoops. He went outside, going into it, which puts him on the inside of that corner. And he felt Eli's presence because Eli cut down, and Eli was going to try to square him up. So Chase decided to stay down the inside in his whoops, which made it a different angle, awkward angle going into the mechanics there, and he just ran into that wall. So that mistake was partly made because Eli was so close to him. And, but I think Chase should have maybe recognized where Eli mode was, that Eli's not the type that would even try to hit him, especially right here. He's just trying to win the championship. So if I was Chase, I probably just went outside thinking of who it was behind me. So nonetheless, coulda, woulda, shoulda, didn't do it. End up crashing, race is done, and Eli's out front right now. Now with Eli, I've been in this position a couple times, maybe not as many times I wanted to, but being able to, wrap up the championship. And I've actually really been in this position for Supercross only one time, and that was 2007, where I had a big points lead, where it was like, just had to finish the race. And once you get through the heat race, you're like, whoo, I won, win this championship.
And I was trying to stay real calm, but I was nervous all day long, just thinking of all the bad things that can happen.
And where Eli was in a position, he didn't have to win. I don't even know what place he had to finish. But it wasn't up there. He just had to finish the race, and he was going to win the title. And it's a weird position to be in, people. And I don't even know how to explain it. It's almost like when you're in these situations, it's like the only way you can lose is if you really just blow it. And that makes it difficult to be in that position as a racer, because your whole mentality all your life is to race to win, dominate, die trying. And when you're put in a situation where you don't have to do that. And in fact, if you do that, there's a good chance that you could lose. The only way you can lose this thing is if you blow it. So you can tell Eli in the heat race, he was running really good. The fans were loud for him. It felt like I was in Toronto in 2014, following around the whole racetrack. These hometown boy winning a championship, his blue crew, can't help but to like the guy. And the fans were pumped for him. So he rode well in heat race. And then in the main event, you could just tell, the britches got a little tight, Put $1 down there, you make 4 quarters in that behind. So he was riding that way, and you can just see him, almost just kind of sitting back and just trying not to make a mistake. And El Hombre was threatened like he always does. I shoot all y'all. And he just rode past him, and then he was dominant. So it's a tough position to be in. Your legs don't work. You're just thinking about, oh man, a failure. And you can just tell when Jason got past him, then it was Malcolm, then it was Cooper. But the luxury was he put himself in the situation to be in that situation. So it was all good for him. But Eli rode perfect. He won his title. It was all the work that he did the 15 rounds prior to this to put him in this position. So it was good. So contrary, being in the other position like I was in 2009, where I needed a third place, but my boy Chad, he was mad at me from previous accident the week before. So the only way, getting 4th place isn't that hard if he blows me off the track, but
it's inside.
That's almost an easier position to be in than this one, because at least if something happened in 2009, it would have sucked. I'd have been mad, but I still had to race. And, to compare to where it was in 2007 for me, it was I could just throw it away. So Eli was in this mode, but he did a good job in controlling. And the only thing he needed to do is what he did, and he did it. And so he gets a full-on sun body. I don't even know what kind of neck burn, leg burn, whatever, 3rd-degree burn we got to come up with. It might be 3rd-degree burn, huh? But he got the job done, and it was good to see it. Now, if you guys watched the heat race, it was really cool to see. And they did it in the main event, but it was a little bit quieter. But in the heat race, Eli pulled a whole shot, or he was up front, and you can just hear the roar. And I felt like we were in Seattle, where they put some of that fake noise in there, I don't know, 12th man. But the crowd was following around. And I can tell you that's a special, special feeling to be in. I've had it a few times I had it in Toronto. It was awesome after I came from way back to first. I've had it in Daytona where I basically knocked myself silly and I finished the race and they were pumped. They were cheering me around. I had it in Washougal, battling with Benny Bloss. Well, I wasn't battling with him, but they were cheering me on. But Eli had it, and I know that's a feeling for him. And I think in the heat race that kind of kept him focused, on his thing. And if you ever seen Eli practice his track in Colorado, it's kind of like this. That dry altitude. He's always ridden good up at this place, and rides good up in Lakewood, Salt Lake City. So he does really well, and I think he's confident because he lives in altitude and what it does to everybody else. So for him, like, I think he was at home, so it couldn't have been the better place to have a championship being wrapped up than your backyard. But you can definitely tell Eli was in a different mindset in that main event. The heat race, I think he was having fun. And then the main event, it was fun, but, at the same time, it was nerve-wracking. So, I bet in Eli's mind, he couldn't finish that race any sooner than what he was. I mean, the 20 minutes felt like, 20 hours for him. And damn, he rode good. But if you even if you watch it, I go back to the bike setup. If you watch his bike still compared to everybody else, there was times where Malcolm was behind him, even Chase was in front, El Hombre. And when somebody's in championship mode, like Eli, his bike is still going straight and everybody else is struggling, they're swapping back and forth. So I think overall, like, it was really his mindset on just getting the job done, compared to the way he actually rode or like setup wise or anything like that. And I heard rumor that he said he was hurt. I think he said he hurt his knee. He didn't look like it. He didn't look like it in practice. He was doing his thing. Even last weekend, he was going fast. But you can watch like El Hombre, swapping, especially where you really noticed it, where Eli's bike was really well, is where Chase made that mistake at the end of the wheels. Eli's bike is working like them double Ds, and it's just nice and plush. So he's able to stop and set up a little bit better. And I think overall, even though he was like a long race championship on there, he was probably doing it pretty easily in the sense of, he wasn't worried about the bike. So all that was well. And, you had, Casper, the friendly 27 Mookie Fever Ghost behind him, and not all white, pretty 7 gear behind him. And Malcolm struggled big time in the qualifying. I think maybe it was one of his worst qualifying performance of the year from what I heard. I think he was like 8th. But I think we talked about it, one of the Anaheims where I said with Cooper Webb, when those guys were, charging, he couldn't keep up the pace. He just didn't have the pace. The bike setup wasn't there, whatever was going on. He couldn't continue that hot lap, fast qualifying lap pace. But what he could keep was a consistent, if the fast was 50s, he can run, high 50s, 0.9s or 51s all day long. Where I felt like with Malcolm, the longer that race went, the better he got. And it looked like he was just riding around, being super consistent. I think some other guys, they could close up on him, but Malcolm was just in the zone that track allowed you to be at, with just being really smooth and calculated. And I thought he rode well, like really well. And considering that he might end up 3rd in the points, damn, Roger, you got me. I think it's just been a great season for him. So compared to the qualifying, I know he was unhappy, and it was about him backing down and allowing his bike to do what it does best and work in these dry situations and not override it. So he did good. He obviously got 2nd. El Hombre was gone, but Jason was doing what he does, going for it. And you saw a lot of guys making mistakes. Barsha made a mistake, and Eli was just there doing his stuff. So overall, out of everybody, you got, of course, Eli got 6th, whatever. He's the man of the day. Then you got Jason, and you got Malcolm. I think those 3 guys right there showed a lot of heart, and they did it well. And it was good to see Malcolm, progress and learn how to ride the motorcycle throughout the day, and then have his best finish of the year so far. Now, this sand section, it was kind of one of the ones, it looked fun, but it also was one-lined. It was weird how I thought maybe they should have made more of a knoll on the inside, so it made the outside rideable. But what you saw a lot of guys even make mistakes where Craig fell at going into the sand off that single. And what was happening was when those guys were landing off that sand, if you doubled in or rolled over, you were roosting that sand on that hard pack. So, how it is, like motocross riders, you throw, what do when you go to concrete starts? You clean off the gate, you get sand off of it. Otherwise, you sit there and spin. So that's the same thing that you're having right here. You're going around a bend, a corner, down PCH, whatnot. So they got that dirt on there. Like, it's slippery. So what you saw, I think Jason did it in practice, where even Craig fell in the race. It's because of the sands being drug or spit into that hard pack, and it makes it super, super slippery. So when Justin was coming in here, the sand was right there, and he just washed out. His fault, his mistake, but it was bound to happen, and it happened to a lot of guys. So that was just the cause of the track being super dry and the way to where those guys were braking at or getting the sand roosted up in the section. It was just dragging into that hard pack, and then so when he went in, he just went down, and that was it for him. So unfortunately, he went down, and unfortunately, he went down. That was it. Can't say nothing about it. Bam, bam, went bam, bam. That was it. You saw Bogle try to take out a mother. Actually, Bogle did take out some dude in the.
Oh, Politelli.
Yeah.
In LCQ.
And dude, he's so smooth at it. You know how smooth he is? He knows when the cameramans, when they're not even filming him. They just in the background. And he comes over, he blasts this dude. Next thing, they're all right there. And the next thing you know, there's 5 seconds come past. And then Justin comes.
Rolling over,
pulling the tear off. Don't even look back at the dude. What are the guy? And the guy knew it. He was like, damn, he got me.
Did they show it on TV or no?
No, I don't even know if they showed it on TV.
I don't think they do.
But it was smooth. You knew. Actually, maybe they did show it on TV, but I saw it in the background. But it was set up that way. I'm telling you, he radioed to the cameraman, said, "Smooth Criminal was about to do something smooth," and he just blasted him. He did a partial on the off camera. Then he was like, "Oh, Justin he got 9th, whatever." But yeah, you can tell he bomb rushed that fool.
Oh, it was heat. Excuse me.
Yeah, it was a heat race.
It
was altitude. He didn't want to go to that last chance. Another ride? Shoot. Yeah.
I saw them talking in the tunnel, and he was trying to apologize to Politelli. He's like, dude, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
But he did it off the camera. You see what I mean? You don't even look back. Look at him. There's the dude just blasting him. Nah, I ain't going to look back. But if you go back a little bit, going into that sand section, look how close they are. They right there. One guy, 3 of them go in, one guy comes out. There you go. Watch, you see it, and then you'll see a Smooth Criminal inside. Yeah. Boom! There he goes. See, it's caught off the camera. And watch him. He's just cruising he's rolling. Just cruising. What, they all right there? Smooth Criminal. Hee. Look at him. Yeah, with Eli, Cole, you said he keeps his feet on the pegs a lot. I think that's just kind of, the way he's always kind of ridden that way, in the sense of, when he was, I guess, the flow mode, when he's in the zone, he always keeps his, feet on the pegs. So even in the corners, he'll back the bike in or just kind of keep his knees locked in. And from what I heard, that was one of the reasons he liked the Yamaha, was because it's a little bit wider than some of the other bikes, I guess wider than the Kawasaki. So I think keeping the feet on the pegs allows him to grip his bike more, and he gets a better tight of it. So, even though he's got his feet on the pegs, he has a grip on that motorcycle, that he knows where it's at. And he's keeping his feet on the pegs in these 180s, corners that can hold him up in there. He has a little bit of, G-force behind it. But I think that's just more to set up of how he rides. And I think when the way he practices, living up in Colorado, his practice track, it was almost like it was, he's able to learn how to ride a bike in attack mode. And I thought even racing Eli, that was one of his strong suits, was he lives up in altitude, so obviously it helps him. But then he's in a situation is when I learned how to ride a motorcycle without a clutch, learning to use the power and, using the gears and torque. Eli's almost been doing that for years now, riding up and practicing on a slower motorcycle, almost like riding your stock bike in the mod class. And that's the way he practices. So that being said, you always got to keep momentum up, outdoor track. He practices feet on the pegs, railing the corners and doing all that stuff. So it's not surprising that when you get to altitude tracks or when he gets into this flow mode, it's almost like he gets in the zone, and it's like he road races in the sense of keeps his foot on the pegs, and he's just leaning over with the bike, But then you look at the way he rides and his, his practice track and all his videos from Colorado. That's exactly how he rides. He practices that all week long. So I think for him, when he gets in these tracks or whatever, when he gets in that zone, it's just normal to him compared to where some of these other guys, that pace and that riding that way is a little bit different. So I felt like when he came up to this, like the only issue would be whether he decided if he wanted to win the race or not. But I didn't think there'd be an issue with him closing his title out because it couldn't have been the best place. You couldn't pick the better place for him to do it. And I think last year, or when he won the title in 2020, it was in Salt Lake City. So it's probably a good feeling. When I raced KYB, and I think that's what he's on right now, it used to be like almost like the suspension was built backwards, where it was so initially stiff, but then it didn't have see, look at him. See how easy that was? Get in there. And I know as a racer, when I used to struggle at that big time because my setup was so stiff that it was doing what Chase did. Like I had to basically power all the way through it, like trying to shed off the gas into the whoops, like, and try to make the inside was super tough. So what I would do was like almost like get in there and you'll start just blipping the throttle, trying to keep the bike, the rear end compressed. And then when I would get there, like the last couple whoops, I would sit down. So when I landed after it in the whoops, like I can put as much weight and traction on the tires so I can make that turn. Where you can see Eli, I mean, he's no rush. He's just kind of flip going through it, and the bike's not kicking, and then he's not in a rush. Where you saw what happened to Chase. Chase blitzed, and he ran into the wall over there. That was it. So all those little details and stuff is kind of how his setup and that freeness, it's been like that all year long. And it's cool to watch. Like he still has the compression side of things, which is odd. Usually you have a bike that's either good at that stuff, but then struggles in the rhythm sections, where he has it set up where it's good in both. Like when he drops in huge G outs, the bike still continues to move straight. It doesn't turn on him. It doesn't tuck. And that's a real good feeling to have. I believe with Eli, we've been talking about it. Like, he's in championship mode. He's doing this. He's got like 7th place last weekend. He's riding around in 5th place this weekend. I think even Cooper might get him. But we forget about the one guy up there, and El Hombre. He from New Mexico, so like, about these mile house stadiums and stuff like that. And he's been doing it the last few weeks. I think he's won the last 3 in a row, right? Something like that. Like if you see my t-shirt, some people, 5 out of 4 people struggle at math. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he won 4 in a row, 5 in a row out of 3. He won 4 out of 3. I don't know, whatever it is. But Jason, he was getting close, like Eli, to where he's starting to get, the neck burn, and I'm starting to get a little Wesley Snipes chocolate. So we're going to have to give him a neck burn. Hit him with it, Cole.
Suntan, neck's on fire.
Jason Anderson, you got the neck burn. But you see how I did a little different today, people? Why? Because that neck burn, I mean, it was like a little like road rash, whatever, a little burn, 1st degree burn. But what they wanted was the one that Eli got. And people, that's a special one. When you get those kind of burns, like everybody notices it. You get the 3rd degree burn. Hit him with it, Cole.
Suntan, neck's on fire.
Eli got a 3rd degree burn. That's the first one of the first. Why? Because it's the first year of the show. Ain't he the first one to win the title that gets the 3rd degree burn? That's it. That's it. Eli, you made me feel good. Like my other picks were wrong, but you were right. I told him coming in all year. I was like, Eli gonna dominate y'all. He gonna dominate. I seen this coming before I seen it coming. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't see this coming. I thought you win the title, but not like this. Congrats, kid. Like, or dude, whatever. Baby daddy, whatever you are. ET, extraterrestrial. You were like that all year. You the champ, man. I know it feels good. People wrote you off. They wrote you off. Talking about, he washed up. He done. Let these new bloods come in, these young bucks, these millennials. But you done showed the 30-year-olds. Is he 30 yet? He 30. Showing the old. The old is still in. We like them oldies, baby. You like the blues. Eli, you got it done. You showed them. And then you had El Hombre. He ain't so youngster too. He might not be 30, but he ain't no spring chicken either. He ain't in kindergarten. So I wouldn't even put him in the millennials. Whatever you want to call them, millennials. Eli Tomac, congratulations. I know it feels good. I know it's still awkward. I can't help it. You're just awkward. But you awkward with 2 number 1 plates. Eli Tomac, congratulations from here at Bubba's World Recap Show. The 2022 Supercross, Monster Energy Supercross champion, Eli Tomac, 3rd degree burn. Hit him with another one, Cole.
Suntan, neck's on fire.
Damn, that neck's on fire. You're screwed now. You got to have a permanent scar. Permanent scar. You're black. That's it. They're going to start confusing you. They're going to be like, oh, Stewart came back. He changed his number. Number 3, right? Yeah. Nah, that's just Eli Tomac. He black. He black. All right. That was it. You know what time it is, people. My favorite time, your favorite time. Stews and stews. But first, we got to take a little quick break. Got to get some water. Got to do whatever we got to do. But we'll be right back with Stews and Stews. All right, guys, we back. You know what time it is. My favorite time, your favorite time. Hell, all of us' favorite time. Stews and stews. So let's get into it. Let's have the good news first. Let's go with the stews. Now, this ain't even a default because, like, I would say this is like a Brahma stew, chicken noodle stew, a big stew. Why is it a big stew? Because you just don't have chicken. You got noodles. You got carrots. You got broth. You got everything. And where I'm going with this, people, it's all year long, and that's Eli Tomac. He did it from A1 to round 16. We got another one to go, but he ain't need that last one because he made his stew all year long, and he's eating it. He was just eating it. He was eating it, farting all over the track, whatever. It didn't matter because no matter what those guys did, whatever cakes they were baking, whatever it is, it didn't matter because Eli had the stew. So that means he's a stupendous stew. That's on a whole nother level of stew. And that's what he was because he was just dominant. He just did it better than everybody else, people. I'm sorry, but he ain't. Eli Tomac, like I said before, congratulations from here. All of us, all the millions of people all in this world and in this room. Congratulations, champ. 2-time champ. You going to make it 3? Who knows? We'll see you next year when we do that. See if I pick you again. But you a stew. Now, and the next one, we're going to go down to the second level stew. I wouldn't even say second level, but Jason Anderson. You're going to be a default. I never had 2 stews for winning the race or winning the title, but you're going to be that one. Default stew. But you rode good, though. Like, you rode good. Like, I just felt like, I mean, obviously you were better than everybody else, but you were riding with passion this weekend. You were like, I'm not to be outdone. I'm not to be outdone. Like, you just did it. So you a stew. And then I'm going to have to say the Colorado fans. Y'all was cheering y'all boy on. Y'all was so pumped. Having the race back on there. Yeah, Eli. I mean, sometimes some people you got to get yourself a stew for getting so hyped up for another stew, I guess. But like some people are hard to get behind. Like it's not like, he's like, Michael Jordan stuff, like his personality and whatnot. It's like he does some awkward stuff, but he does it so good. Awkwardness can be good. But he's doing it and y'all were behind your man. Y'all behind your man, family counts, and y'all was doing it. So you guys get a stew, Colorado. Up there cheering that boy around like that. He was rounding 5th. It was like James Stewart at Washougal. I mean, damn, like, you must love me because I'm back here getting roosted. Actually, I wasn't even getting roosted, maybe by a lapper, but I wasn't even laughing at nobody. I didn't get laughed either, but y'all was doing that. So, Eli Tomac, stupendous stew, Jason Anderson, default stew, and you Coloradoans, whatever, y'all stew because y'all got love for your boy. And those are your stews, all y'all. Next, y'all know what time it is. Dude, pissed off. Pissed off because damn, like, I don't even know why you pissed off. You just pissed off. Pissed off because you keep saying pissed off so much and you're just pissing you off. Stewed. First one. El Hambre. Yeah. Now, you might be like, hold the phone. How can you get stewed for winning the race and be stewed? You're stewed because you caught fire. You catching fire. You threaten all these guys so much, they'd be like, damn, just let this dude win. If you'd have done this maybe like 5-6 rounds ago, instead of shooting your own self in the foot, whatever, shooting everybody else and y'all gang banging, whatever, you'll wait to the last minute. You got 3 in a row, but it don't even matter now. I mean, the bonus checks matter. So, you might be stewed, but then you're happy when you go to check. But I know you're a little bit stewed because you've been on it last few weeks. And it's like, oh, it's going to get you a second place, but whatever. So I know you stewed. And then second, I don't even know. Portatelli, is he stewed? Is he stewed because he got Smooth Criminal by Bogle? I don't know. I don't even think they showed it, but I saw it. He's going to hit you with a rap battle. I don't know. But he's so smooth with it. It's like Chiz. You can't be mad at Chisholm. It's Chiz. I don't know. Kyle, you just show up over here and ride at my place. I guess, but it's Chiz, man. You can't be mad at him. Yeah. So, yeah. And then I would tell you one thing, and that was awkward. My phone just went. So I ain't going to be stewed
Now
of it.
I'm stewed.
You don't get a vote. Okay, this is my show. You can't be stewed. You can't be stewed at me. Only it don't work that way. I can be stewed at you. But the other one, Eli Tomac. This is the first time we had the double stews of two different people. Why is he stewed? Because damn, that trophy was awkward. Like you were struggling. And trust me, you see these ones back here? I got two of them, so I know they heavy. But then I saw that monster girl, Stewmendous, by the way. She picked it up. But you were struggling picking that thing up, and you were trying to like, yeah. I don't know. It's lighter than my kid, but heavier than my kid. Yeah, maybe my t-shirt might be right. 5 out of 4 people struggle with math. I don't know. But it was awkward. But it's a good awkward. So that's why you happy, and then you stewed, whatever. Eli Tomac, God damn it, I'm telling you again, congratulations. This was a born one. It was born. It was born because, hey, you know what? That soup was just made. It was pre-made. You just ate it. Congratulations, champ. For the 30-year-olds, man. For the 30-year-olds. You might make me come out of retirement. You got Ryan Dungey coming out. He came out of retirement. I think it was partly you. He came out because of you. He's like, I beat Eli when I was riding. I'm from Minnesota. I've been riding until he came out of retirement. But mine, not me. Not me. I can't get my bike set up that well. So, nobody ain't offering me no ride, so I can't do it. So, nonetheless, congratulations. There's your stews. And, Malcolm, I'm going to throw you in the stew. Because, hell, you stewed. And you rode good. You got second. And you might end up third. Finish it off. Everybody else, y'all could be stewed, whatever. That was it, people. Round 16 from the Mile House Stadium. Y'all just going to go a few miles down the road or east, west. Geography wasn't my best either. So you're going to go there and you're going to finish it off. And then you know what time it is? It's going to go outside where everybody gets just a nice tan line. So we're going to have to come up with a new one. Because I don't know if they do neck burns, series. I don't know if they, fort the neck burns, whatnots. But nonetheless, we're going to finish this one off. Eli Tomac, Jason Anderson, congratulations. Hunter Lawrence, congratulations. My phone, I'm going to turn that off next time. You, congratulations. Colorado fans, congratulations. And Eli, again, ET Mode champion 2022, Monster Energy Supercross champ, Eli Tomac. And that's it, people. I'll see you guys next week. Until then, hit him with it, Cole.
Suntan, next on fire.